Gonna attempt to ride the new TSDZ8 build. I just finished it the other day. We're gonna go on about a 12.5 mile ride around a local lake and try to give you some insight on this motor. This motor I have apparently has the older software, and I am hopefully going to be updating that as soon as there's some good solid directions how to do it. I want to update that to the newest firmware that Tongshin has on this TSDZ8 motor. It's supposed to make the first two levels a lot more usable and kind of equal everything out. I really like it. I'm actually going to run on 4 and 5 on this little ride because I just found if you ride slow and you don't put a lot of pressure, it works well even on 5. And then as soon as you press hard, it gives you a lot. But I'm tooling along about 10 mile an hour now, and it's perfect. So, but I would like to get the newest software on it. So hopefully this helps somebody. You're going to hear the noise of the tires much more than the motor. This motor's almost quiet. These are 29 plus tires, 3 inches wide, Maxxis, Minion, DHF, DHR, front and rear. And this is a TSZD8 Motobecane. It's a boost bike, front and rear. It's got super short chain stays. It's a lot of fun. It's very playful. It's very, very much like a Trek Stash with the geometry and the way that it's built, and the chain stays are very similar. Hope you enjoy the view. Did forget to mention that this has a shift sensor. I had a BBS02 on this bike previously, and I left the shift sensor on, and it plugs right into the wiring on the TSDZ8 motor. No issues at all. It cuts power to the motor every time I shift, and it works flawlessly. And I've still got the stock sprocket on the front. I believe it's a 44 tooth. The chain line is perfect, and this bike is a 10-speed Dior group set is what I have on it. And again, you're hearing tire noise, I'm sure, because I cannot hear the motor at all currently. Every once in a while you hear a little whine. And this is just riding along normal around 11 or 12 mile an hour. And I'm on level 5. But it doesn't give me everything that it has until I push hard. Otherwise, just kind of on autopilot until you push really hard, and then it gives you everything. This motor definitely feels a lot more playful than the BBS02B that it replaced. I had open source software on that motor from GitHub. My memory can't remember who created it. It's easy enough to find, but they did an outstanding job. That motor was buttery smooth. For what it was fantastic, but it's basically an on and off switch when you got cadence sensing, and this torque sensing it's just a lot more playful. I'd encourage you to ride both and make your own assessment. They both have their purpose for sure. You work a little harder on this, but it rewards you much more when you push harder. I'm actually running in, I believe it's 8th or 9th gear. Doesn't have the number on the indicator, but just went up a kind of steep small hill there, and it's nothing to it. You just push a little bit harder and it ramps up. There wasn't any need to shift. It's kind of nice in comparison to the cadence sensing, because this, you put more effort in with your legs and it gives you more. So there's actually, I think, less shifting on this than on the cadence sensing motor. Again, just my opinion. Not saying anyone else is wrong if they differ in their opinion, but it's just my observation. The cable that came with this motor was actually too short. I've read that in comments on Facebook, on the groups, and then when I got mine, I had the same conclusion everybody else did, that it was quite short and too short for my bike. So I actually had a bunch of Bafang cables lying around, and I put a Bafang cable on there and it fit perfectly. I don't know how many parts are interchangeable, probably not many, or maybe not any, but the cable, I can tell you, is interchangeable to a Bafang cable that would be like for a BBS 02 or HD motor. That's the spare ones that I had lying around. That's what they were for, in case I ever needed one. And it fit this motor, the harness, perfectly. I put a little dielectric grease on it and snapped it right in. So that's currently what's on it, and it was the right length. I didn't have to mess with trying to extend cables or shorten cables or anything like that. And it turned out really neat. You know, neat and tidy. I try to keep things looking professional and try to make it look, I wouldn't say store-bought, but like factory, if that's the right word. Got a bike trail here that I'm riding today that's 12.5 miles around this lake, and one of my favorite places to go and decompress, and always nice when you just complete a project and get to go for a ride on it. Lots of people walk here, so you got to kind of be looking out for walkers while you're riding. I usually don't ride real fast, just kind of look around, enjoy the scenery, look for wildlife. I haven't pushed this motor too hard yet. I believe probably on this bike would do somewhere between 30 and 35. Again, that's just a guess. I think basically it's how fast you could pedal, and I think it's set up to 38 or 39 miles an hour is what it could go. But of course, that's going to depend on your gearing and how hard you can pedal. I feel safe to say that on this bike I'd probably get at least 30 with these big 29x3 tires. Bike's not very heavy. I haven't weighed it yet, but if I had a guess, I'd say mid 50s pounds. Again, that's a guess. I've built a few other ones that were around 53, 54 pounds, and this one to me feels as light as them, maybe even lighter. For what it is, for the power that it has and the power that's available on demand as soon as you start cranking, the power to weight ratio is really good. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It gives you a little watt hour meter on the display. Tells you how much the motor's putting out at any given time. And when you're just tooling along, even on level 5, it is not putting out much. Like, just because it's on level 5, which is the highest setting, doesn't mean it's giving you all that power unless you push hard on the pedals, which cadence sensing, on the other hand, would actually, you know, on level whatever you have, if it's 5, 7, 9, whatever levels you have, if you put it on the highest level with that, it gives you all the power all at one time when you start pedaling, whether it's ghost pedaling or not. Where this one, again, if you have the chance to ride both, again, they both have their place and I like them both. This one to me feels sportier, being torque sensing, and I'm not missing the cadence. I just push a little harder when I get to a hill and it gives me a little more. Haven't felt the need to use the thumb throttle, but it's nice to know that it's there just in case decide to use it and knees start to hurt. I've got that option, which is really nice. The thumb throttle is definitely not as powerful, I would say, as what it would be on a BBS motor. The thumb throttle on those works a little bit better and it's a little stronger, but this definitely has a sufficient enough thumb throttle for what the bike is, and I would compare it to a TSDZ8 thumb throttle, except that it's quieter when you use it and it has more power than that motor, obviously, but the thumb throttle also produces more power when used with this motor versus that motor. Getting ready to go up a hill here in less than a minute, and it's a fairly steep hill, so I'm actually going to go to a mid-range gear, I think probably around 6, and we're going to climb this thing like it's nothing. Again, you're hearing tires. Can't hear the motor at all. Okay, now I'm pushing, and this is a fairly steep hill. Now you can hear the motor whine a little bit, but this is freaking awesome. I did not have to shift in the middle of that hill, and I'm probably in, I want to say 6th gear right now out of 10. And that's fairly steep. So now we're going down this hill, and then there's a long hill up through the woods that I'm gonna see what gear we end up being in, but I'm staying in this gear and I'm gaining speed. I'm now at 15 miles an hour. I just clicked, gear shift sensor worked flawlessly, and I'm gaining speed. I'm at 17, 18. Really cool, happy with it. I'd say of all the bikes that I've built, this one is the most fun to ride. I've built BBS02B, couple bikes, and I've used a BBS HD on a couple different bikes. And these have all been tuned with custom firmware and a lot of research. This one definitely, to me, feels more fun than any of those. And I have open source software on 2 different TSDZ8 Tongshan motors. I have the open source software on those, and they feel great in their own way. I won't knock them at all, but I think I like this one better. It's just got a little more grunt. Definitely torquey, and I don't feel like I have to use as many gears with this one. You can kind of just buckle down when you go into a hill, even in a higher gear, and it grunts it out, where the TSDZ8 motors probably shift a little bit more, even with the open source software, although that software makes a huge difference. Absolutely, so appreciative of the community that puts that together and works on it tirelessly. They're very talented, and I just want to make sure and give them all the credit, because no way I could do it. Wished I had that knowledge though. I think I failed to mention that I am running this motor on a 52 volt battery. I believe this one's 14 amp hours, and I used a G56 battery to fit in the triangle because this triangle's kind of small. It was hard to find a battery that was going to fit, so the G56 fits in there like a glove. There's literally maybe a half an inch to spare, but the battery does come on and off. So if we go somewhere and I want to take the battery in and charge it wherever we're at on vacation, I can do that and just unlock the battery and pop it off and take it in. So it worked out good in that respect. I put this G56 on there, and of course I ordered it. I had to order it overseas, unfortunately, but always nice to buy around home when I can. But I ordered this without knowing if it was going to fit. It was kind of hard to know, so I was happy, and it works very well. Probably can tell I haven't shifted very much if you're able to hear that on the recording. Saying this is a TSZD8 Ride. It's got the Manitou shock on the front. Now I can't think of the other name. You know what it is. This is a boost bike, so this has got, these aren't loose ball bearings in those hubs. Those are boost hubs. And I set it up tubeless. Rides really nice, cushy. Took a bunch of weight off of it. That battery's secure, it's not going anywhere. I got a triple bob on there to make it more sturdy. I love their products. Grin Technologies out of Canada. This is the motor. Motor's not even warm after that ride. I know I didn't push it real hard, but I mean it's literally like room temperature. I protected the frame with some Velcro. That's like the hook part of the Velcro that I wrapped around the frame. I cleaned it good with alcohol and then wrapped that around there. And in the lowest gear, it's like an 1/8 of an inch clearance. And I just figured if it slapped around a little bit, I don't spend much time in low gear, but all the other gears are better. And of course the Dior group set with a clutch, which is nice. Chain line is really good. No issues at all with the chain line. I don't have it on the middle cog right now, but you'll have to trust me. It's straight, good. All gears are usable. 10-speed, obviously. Of course, hydraulic disc all around. 180 front and rear. Center lock Shimano hubs, the rotors, and there's my display. I don't know, hopefully it doesn't flicker on the video. Got the fun grips on there. They got the closed end on them, which is nice. I like that. It's neat. Don't have to worry about the caps coming off or anything. And they're lock on, of course. This one's got a dropper post on it too that came that way, and I like to put the throttle upside down. For some reason, it's just more comfortable that way to me. And it's kind of easy to blip it from up there. I like it better that way than under. And I got some bike tools in the bag there. Some of this stuff came off of Amazon. This is the shift sensor that was on there with the BBS motor, and I just ran it right down. Again, I didn't even have to change anything. I didn't have to take the cable out, nothing. Once I had that in there for the other motor, it plugged right into this motor, and it works flawlessly, as I said before. But it's around 16 mile an hour there. Trying to do this with my hands full, bear with me. But again, I can't hear the motor over the tires, and when you can hear it, it's just a light whine. Doesn't feel like it's working hard at all. Sorry about the camera. I'm trying to look where I'm going as I'm talking to you. So, yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with it. It's not, I wouldn't say it's as quiet as a BBS motor, but wow, I mean, it's not much different really, and you're getting torque sensing, and you still have a thumb throttle if you want to use it. So, another thing I'm going to address in the future, hopefully this is usable content, because there's a lot of wind noise obviously riding, and it's kind of a breezy day. So I'm really hoping that I can use this content. Here's the peepers, that's what we call them around here. I think they're tree frogs. But it's pretty breezy. And I may end up getting an external microphone to try to alleviate that problem, or put some, I think they call them a dead cat or something, that the fuzzy things that you put on your camera to break up the wind noise. But we'll see how this turns out. This microphone's pretty good on this, but the wind is kind of bad. So I apologize ahead of time for that. Now I'm in 10th gear climbing this hill. I've never done that before on my other bikes without a whole lot more effort than I'm putting forth. I just push a little harder and it gives a lot more. We'll go down this little path here. Kind of a fun little place I like to come down. Sorry about the brightness. Sun's beating off the lake. And a little bit bright, but like I said before, this motor is so much fun. It does make you work a little bit, so if I sound out of breath, I'm a little out of breath, not too bad, but you know, exercise is a good thing, and when you put forth some effort into this, it rewards you thoroughly. It definitely makes it more fun. It makes you want to ride a little bit harder and put a little more strain on your legs to get that extra power. And that's a good thing. That's one of the reasons I kind of started going towards torque sensing versus the cadence. Again, nothing wrong with them. But just for my kind of ride, and I enjoy this, and it gives me more exercise. And it's a great time with all these motors. Sorry to keep looking around with the camera. It's a great time with all these motors. This TSDZ8B, we got the 2.7 DM01 and DM02. I don't have any experience with those, just what you all have watching YouTube videos. I don't have any experience with CYC. I'd love to try out a Photon at some point. I really think that's a good product, but I just wanted to kind of wait and see what the reliability was like on it, and maybe consider Gen 3 or 4, you know, give it a year or two to mature a little bit. And it was more expensive, and of course it's a longer wait to get the product. So it's hard for me to wait. I like to buy something and have it in a short amount of time, and get to building the product. So getting to build a new bike. Love to build bikes. Just really enjoy that. I know it's the wrong side of the road. Usually it's not too busy, and just be extra careful. Always like the view on this side better. friends down there diving. Well, we're getting near the end of the ride, and I believe it's 12.5 miles. I'll double check when I get back to the vehicle. I guess in conclusion, this is something I really enjoy. It's satisfying to me to put one of these bikes together and then to go test ride it. It's enjoyable. Love the outdoors, I always have, and the technology is awesome, and it's getting so much better. We live in a great time right now, and just like to say thanks for riding along, and I'm going to try to cut this down a little bit so I don't waste a bunch of people's time, and I'd like to push out a few more of these. Not sure when, but we'll see if anybody likes this one. So I like to document these times, go back and watch them in the winter months when I might not be able to be out here doing this. So until next time, thanks for following along.